Hello, my name is Yulia. I'm a former Fulbright Fellow from Ukraine, and this is my YouTube channel where I interview Fulbrighters from all over the world. We talk about studying abroad, cultural exchange, and of course, the scholarship that made it all possible. Today, I am interviewing Ksenia. She is a former Fulbright Fellow from Estonia. I met her while she was studying at the University of Michigan last year, and unfortunately, today we are in two different countries, so we decided to catch up by Skype. So I hope that the connection will be good and you will enjoy this interview. Hi, Ksenia. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate that you came to share your experience, and please introduce yourself.
So my name is Ksenia. I am originally from Tallinn, Estonia. I'm right now doing a PhD in England in the University of Cambridge. I'm doing a PhD in education. Last year I was the Fulbright Fellow at the University of Michigan, and I was doing a master's in education. This is my story, I guess.
So I guess this will be an interview like if there is life after Fulbright, because you're the first person who is.
There is life after Fulbright. Yeah.
Well, going back to life before Fulbright, why you decided to apply? What were your background before? What you were doing before? And what?
Right. So my background is in mathematics. So I did my undergrad in mathematics, and I did a master's in mathematics. Actually, I have two, one from the University of Cambridge and another one from the University of Tartu. It's a long story why I have two masters. But basically, when I wanted to do the PhD, I wanted to do my PhD in mathematics education. So I wanted to research how people learn math and what are the best ways to teach math. And when I wanted to apply, they told me you cannot do a PhD in education without a master's in education. So then I realized that I need to do another master's, but I really kind of used up all my resources on my possible fundings for a master's when I did my first one in Cambridge. So I realized that pretty much the only option I have to get another master's and be fully funded was Fulbright. So I decided to apply, and it worked out, surprisingly for me. So Fulbright sponsored your third master's degree? Yes, which I did not expect, because I thought that when I would come to an interview, they would tell me, like, what? Like, are you going to do a fourth one afterwards? Or something like that. But they were pretty cool about it. And I think a big reason is because I had a clear plan. So I told them, yes, I'm going to do this master's, but then I want to do a PhD at this university with this supervisor. So like I think they understood that my purpose is not to get as many master's degrees as possible, but rather to get this master's in order to do my PhD. So. That's a very good topic, because some people asked me if Fulbright will sponsor a second master's degree, and I think that's pretty common experience for international students, because you do your first master's at home and then you apply. But yeah, I always tell that I also did Fulbright as the third master's, and I know another person who did that, so it's fine that they do that. And as they explained to me, it just has to be like that your major should be different from those two that you already have. Not necessarily like in your case, like when it was like completely different area. In my case, it was like since my previous two were different titles, kind of like manufacturing, and then I went for mechanical engineering, but they all like parts of each other. So yeah, that happens. Yeah, it's doable, definitely. So what was your experience in the United States as a Fulbrighter? Like, what were your expectations before you coming? Were they met, like in terms of academia, in terms of life in the United States, or I don't know, how was that? Well, in terms of academia, I think my expectations were, I would say, exceeded, because I was not sure what to expect. I studied in Estonia, studied in England, I did an exchange semester in Australia, so I kind of had these bits and pieces from all over the world, but I did not have a clear idea about the US. And as I said, my primary reason for going to the US was because I could get funding. So I did not really have high expectations, but I was really satisfied with my program, and I really loved how flexible it is and how I could really fit it to my motivation, to my purposes, because the reason I was doing this, I wanted to prepare for my PhD. And I had so much freedom in choosing my courses, and within my courses, I had so much freedom in choosing what I was focusing on. Like all my essays, all my projects, they were on mathematics education. Like even if the class was, I don't know, psychology of education, I was still doing psychology of mathematics education, and I really loved that opportunity to narrow it down and to focus on exactly what I was interested in. And throughout the whole year, mine was a 1-year master's. Throughout the whole year, we only had 2 classes that were compulsory. One was basically history of education. The other one was basics of research in education, and everything else we could choose. And I really loved it so much. And like now that I am, living my life after Fulbright, I actually feel that it was so useful that I could focus on exactly what I needed and not just study something broad.
And you say that you were studying here only 1 year. So I know that for European Union students, Fulbright funds only 1 year. So how did you make it?
Well, I was really lucky to find a program that is only 1 year. So it was expected of us to complete within 1 year. But I know from experience of other students from Estonia, from the EU, is that second year they try as hard as they can to get a scholarship from the university or sometimes from the government. But I think the most common scenario is that they get a scholarship from the American university for the second year.
I see. So, well, yeah, you were lucky to find a 1 year program. Right? And what about your expectations in terms of lifestyle in the United States? And was it like you pictured or not? And I don't know. What was your cultural shock here?
I've heard many stereotypes, of course, and I would say many of them were mad. Like in terms of, it's hard to find healthy food that would be cheap or accessible, or I don't know, people being super talkative and always like even strangers on a bus stop say always talking to you and trying to, I don't know, oh, the weather is so nice, so it's so cold, it's probably cold because it's Michigan, but yeah, I had some sort of impression. I wouldn't say that I was surprised really, but then again, America is so big and life in a small city in Michigan, a small town in Michigan is real different from New York, which I guess is real different from, I don't know, California. So I don't know if there is even such a thing as, the American experience. Is more of like many different experiences you can have depending on where you are.
Did you have any cultural shock when you came here? Like it can be just some small thing from, I don't know.
I was really surprised that there are no, that the prices that they have in the shops that they don't include taxes. So they add taxes when you pay. I was like, what? Like it says it costs, I don't know, $4.50 and I only have $5. But like when I pay for it, it's more than $5. Like, okay. Something bigger that really surprised me is medicine, because I've heard about American medicine and the fact that it is expensive and that it is sometimes costs quite a lot. But one time I had to go to the doctors, and like as Fulbrighters we do have insurance, but by some sort of mistakes they sent the bill not to the insurance but to me directly. So the 5-minute ultrasound that I had was $800, and for me it's mind-blowing, and this whole attitude to healthcare that it is a privilege, not a right. I'm still shocked by it.
Yeah, I totally feel you. By the way, I think that I remember you told me that you worked on campus while you were Fulbrighter. So how you could do that?
So basically, I think working on campus is the only like way to work when you're on Fulbright. But basically, my academic advisor in Michigan, she also had her own research group that worked on mathematics education, and she wanted me to involve me in that and get some experience. So in order to do that, I had to actually work and to get paid. It was not that hard. Basically, you just have to ask Fulbright for permission to work, which was quite easy to get. It's just a paper they sign. But the downside is, at least in my case, is that whatever money you're making, they're subtracting it from your Fulbright stipend. So, like, in the end, whether you're working or not, you get the same amount of money every month.
Yeah, that was basically the answer that I was looking for. Like, you can work, but, well...
You work, but you don't make money.
you can volunteer.
Yeah, volunteer is a good word, yeah.
By the way, is there also a limitation, like 20 hours per week?
I think so. Mine was not a full-time thing anyway, so it fit into that definition, but I don't remember what it is exactly, but there is some limit, definitely, yeah.
Okay. And, well, what was being a Fulbrighter for you? Were you engaged in some seminars, activities, or, I don't know, and, like, also what is title Fulbrighter means for you now?
I think for me, Fulbrighter, it's going to sound cliche, but to me, Fulbrighter, is like being a part of some global family because it's really such a good community. And I don't know, in the University of Michigan, we did not have that many Fulbrighters. I know you have a lot in Kalamazoo, but like in Michigan, it was, I don't know, like 5 people maybe. But still, when I arrived to the States, we had this, I don't remember what it's called, like welcome seminar or something in Miami, where there were, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 Fulbrighters from all over the world coming from the States. Like you get to meet people from, I don't know, Zimbabwe or Argentina or, I don't know, Japan. And it's really interesting meeting all these people and making connections. And then at the end of my first year, and I think most people at the end of the first year, they go to enrichment seminars. Mine was in Philadelphia, where again, you meet people, you meet Fulbrighters from all over the States and spend maybe, I don't know, 3-4 days together, attending seminars, volunteering, doing some sorts of activities. And it really gave me a bigger perspective, I would say, on Fulbright as a community, because you understand that there are so many different people, but like on some level you're connected like from the start, because you're Fulbrighters, and it's really good. And I feel like wherever I go, if I meet a Fulbrighter, then it's like I already know someone local. Like maybe I could stay at the place so they can show me around, and it's really good.
Yeah. Totally agree with that. And did you have a chance to present your country while in the United States? Maybe at some official events, maybe, I don't know, just in everyday life, answering people's weird questions?
Not officially. We did not have any official events, anything like that, no. But unofficially, all the time, when you say I'm from Estonia, people are like, you're from where? Like, what is Estonia? Or where is Estonia? So I get many chances to at least educate people about Estonia. And I think one of my most memorable moments when someone asked me how many people are there in Estonia, I told them just 1 million, and like they were shocked, because that person was from Indonesia, so they have, I don't know, like 50 million, probably even more. So like he was like, oh my God, you're so unique. Like there's so few of you, it's so weird to me when somebody from, say, Indonesia sees me as exotic, as unique, because like for us, it's like we're normal. People from Indonesia are exotic. So yeah, I got lots of questions about my country, about our language, and I did enjoy that opportunity to educate people a bit about my tiny country.
That's cool. And talking about cultural experience, like also, what did you learn here? I mean, I know that like when you were studying education, I don't know was it new knowledge for you or not. Like, did you learn more about like diversity, I don't know, equality or something like that?
Definitely, because I would say that in Estonia, it's not really a topic we talk about, because, well, everyone's kind of blonde and has blue eyes, so there's not that much of a diversity issues in Estonia going on, though there are some, but still, whereas in the States, it's always a topic, like diversity in schools, equality in schools, like within education at least. And I definitely learned about that, and there's so many initiatives and even so much research done about that. I was really surprised, just by the fact that, for example, in the States, as you probably know, schools are funded on a local level. So if you're from a poor neighborhood, like your school is going to be pretty bad. And then 50 meters from it is like some rich neighborhood with a fancy school with like a pool and a library and I don't know what. And I found it really shocking just how much someone's background or just like the neighborhood you live can influence your education and then your outcome in life. And it was really surprising to me, yeah. But I'm glad to see that there are a lot more initiative and a lot more actions going on to kind of reduce the effects of that.
And how all this experience benefits you now in your education?
I would say I'm just
not just culture, like everything that's like you were studying here.
Yeah, I would say it just makes me more aware of the issues that are going on. Like some things I would not notice, maybe not pay as much attention to. I kind of more aware now. For example, I never really thought about, like in Estonia, we have this Russian minority and then the actual Estonians. And I never really saw it as a diversity issue or as an equality issue before I came to the States. But now that I've seen all of that, I'm like, oh, okay, there might be a problem. We might have to address that. And we might, use the research that was done in the States and translate it to our own setting. Yeah.
That makes sense. So now about life after Fulbright.
There is life after Fulbright.
Tell us more about that.
And I think first of all, it really depends where you're from because I think in Ukraine and many other countries, you actually have to go back to your country at some point and like stay there physically for 2 years. Is it a thing?
You have to. I think that's general rule for Fulbright, but what they say is basically you need to show that you spent 2 years in your home country, even if it is cumulative. So if you go there for vacation, that counts.
Oh, okay.
Before you can get work visa or green card to immigrate to the United States.
Okay.
They don't track you where you are. Like, I mean, let's say like I can go to work in Canada and spend the rest of my life in there. But if I get a job in the United States, I won't be able to accept it until I show that I spent 2 years at home.
Okay, that's interesting. In Estonia is different because we don't have this requirement. Basically, our only requirement is we cannot go back to the States on any visa other than the tourist visa. So we cannot work, we cannot like get education unless we stay for a PhD. But we do not have to physically be in Estonia or show any proof of being in Estonia. So me being in England right now is basically equivalent to being in Estonia and I saw Fulbright because I'm not in the United States. So there are not any requirements like that for Estonians. I'm not sure about other European countries. So basically, for Estonians, when you leave the States, it's done. It's over. You don't have to do anything. So basically, your 2 years in the United Kingdom now counts as 2-year home rule? Yeah, it's not really a home rule, even. It's just like not coming to the US rule. Okay. So yeah, it counts. Okay. So, now you're in the United Kingdom. You're studying in Cambridge, so I mean, yeah, life after Fulbright. Yeah, life after Fulbright is good. I mean, I still feel I have so many connections, and even from Michigan, it's so interesting because I've seen so many people with like Michigan logo on the t-shirts, and they always say like when they see me, they say "Go Blue," and like it's a Michigan thing, like "Go Blue." And it's like so heartwarming when some stranger in a small English town, he's like, "Go Blue, go Michigan." It's amazing. But in terms of more, I guess, practical things, I think it's been quite straightforward for me. I came back to Estonia, Fulbright bought my ticket. Only thing I had to wait for was basically my diploma because I had to show Cambridge that, okay, I graduated, now I've met the requirement you set me, which took quite a while because the graduation was in April. I got my diploma in September, I think, which is quite unusual, but it's fine, it worked out. And yeah, from that point on, I don't really have any obligations to Fulbright. I have my degree, I have my connections, so only positive things. Well, studying in Cambridge sounds a little bit surreal for some people. So how did you get there? Like, were they accepted you? Like, oh, you're a Fulbrighter. Like, sure, come over. Or, I don't know. And initially, I actually wanted to do a master's here in Cambridge as well, but I did not get the funding. It did not work out, which is the reason I also applied for Fulbright because it was a good funding opportunity. So I had my eyes on Cambridge for quite a while because I wanted to work with a particular supervisor, but I really don't know. People ask me all the time, like, how do you get into Cambridge? And like, my answer is, you just try. You just send your application, you see what happens, and maybe they call you for an interview, and maybe they make you an offer, and you never know. Like, because first time when I applied to do my master's, I had very little qualifications. I had a degree from my Estonia university, not really any conferences, not really any public publications. So it's still a mystery to me why they admitted me in the first place. But it's been really helpful, moving forward. And the only thing is that it really takes a lot of time to apply here. So basically, I came to Michigan in August, and in September I started applying to Cambridge, and I started working on my application. So basically, the whole year in Michigan, I was also working on getting admitted into Cambridge. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It just takes lots of time. Well, I mean, anyways, it's still impressive to me. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your studies, about Fulbright, with the people that are watching this video? Or, I don't know, maybe some inspirational quote or something to finish the video? I would just encourage people to go for it and to try, because I get so many messages from people, oh, do you think I have any chance of getting it? Do you think I should go always yes. You will never know if you don't try. Because when I was going for my Fulbright interview, first of all, it was my third master's. Like I never thought anyone would fund a third master's. I had pink hair. I thought they will not take me seriously because I have pink hair. Like, but in the end, it still worked out. Then I thought, oh my God, GRE is so hard. Like, I will never get accepted because GRE was horrible. And like, I did have a bad score, but like, the reality is, it's just a way to make money. Like, they don't care about your GREs. Well, they do, but not that greatly. And yeah, I guess I'll just say to people that go ahead and try, and otherwise you'll never know. And being a Fulbright is a really cool experience, and it stays with you, even now being here in the States. For example, even in London, there is a club basically called University of Michigan in the UK, and they get together, they organize events, they watch Michigan football games together, and it's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you receive a lot of messages, so probably this is the point where I want to release information that you're a YouTuber too.
I am a YouTuber, yeah, but my blog is in Russian, so if you speak Russian, you can come over.
Yeah, I'll definitely link for your YouTube or your Instagram below, so if you speak Russian, or you want to learn Russian,
yeah,
that's a channel where you can learn a lot about studying in 3 different countries.
4.
4 different countries, yeah. Yeah, why? I don't know why I can't. Well, I counted by degrees, but I didn't. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's Estonia, England, Australia, and United States. Yeah.
I didn't count Estonia. I didn't miss Australia. And yeah, and a lot of useful information about Fulbright, about applying to Cambridge and experience in all those universities. So if you speak Russian, Ksenia's channel is definitely a very useful place. So I would highly recommend to you. Well, thank you, Ksenia, again for this, for sharing your experience and for coming today. And I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm sure that this information will be useful to others. So if you guys have any questions to Ksenia or me about study, about Fulbright or anything else, you're welcome to leave in the comments under this video or connect with us directly. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next videos, and thank you, Ksenia, again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.